or influencing or persuading the farmer to not be frugal, not save, not prepare for a bad day. And I hear you out there saying, the farmer can't control the weather. Yes, the farmer can't control the weather. But you and I are not farmers. And you and I both know that there will be years where we have droughts. There will be years where there's bad weather. And if I know that, then the farmer has to know that. And the farmer has to be aware of the risk. And the farmer should prepare for the risk. Just like you or I, you could get sick tomorrow. And it is in your best interest to save money to prepare for that. Your car could break down tomorrow. And it is your best interest to save money or to have insurance. You prepare for those moments, just like the farmer should prepare for those moments. The government should not bail everyone out. Now, some people, the populists, think, no, the government should bail people out. The government should be in control. Now, if you do believe that, and that's fine. But the question then is, where does this money come from? How much more writing is he going to do on the screen? Where did that money come from? The government gave to the farmer. Oh, guess what? That money came from you and me. So we paid our taxes to pay for the farmer on his bad day. Who's paying for you on your bad day? Guess what? You don't get a subsidy because you're not a farmer. The farmers were chosen. The guy that runs the Mexican restaurant and he has a bad year, do our tax money go to him to bail him out? Nope. His tax dollars that he pays goes to bail someone else out while he struggles. We often denigrate and look down upon the poor or low-income individuals or families with single parent households that receive food stamps, which is known as SNAP, WIC benefits, Medicaid. The government gives money to low-income families who are struggling, helps them with their rent, helps them buy food. A lot of it helps them with school lunch. And unfortunately, in this country, a lot of times middle-class or upper-class Americans look down upon those people because you're using government money because you can't take care of yourself. Under that same theory, if you are one of those individuals and you are going to look down upon low-income families, then you also then must look down upon farmers. Because they're also, like I just mentioned, receiving subsidies and government bailouts to help them out while they struggle. And you can argue, oh, but they're working. Well, yes, so are low-income families. A lot of single mothers are working as well. They're just doing a different job. And just because this single mother is waiting tables, it's no different than being a farmer. Oh, well, this is hard work and people need food. Well, people need waiters, and single mothers do what they got to do in whatever job or industry. And some of these single mothers might be teachers. Some of these single mothers may work at Head Start. Some of these single mothers may be working at the front office at the local mechanics. You can't really generalize everything and put everybody into one boat, but we can say if the government is giving money here and the government is giving money here, if you don't like it here, then you shouldn't like it here. And if you're okay with it here, then you need to be okay with it here. There's not much different. In the end, we are still talking about government subsidies. It's government helping people out. How about an easy topic? One a little less loaded that we all can agree on. The 8-hour workday. Now, I said in the other video that they were working 24 hours a day. Well, it's a little bit of an exaggeration, but I want to get a point across. Your typical workday was probably about 10 hours a day, which is still too much. And the populists fought for the 8-hour workday. 8 hours of rest. Yeah, right. Who gets 8 hours of rest? I got a 7-month-old child at home. 8 hours of rest. Yeah, right, populists. You know what? I don't want an 8-hour workday. I wish the populists would have gotten the 8 hours of rest. I don't know how you would have guaranteed that. You'll have to talk to my son about how you're going to make that work. But I'll tell you, I will vote for the modern populists if they can somehow make it a law that I can get 8 hours of sleep each night. That would be wonderful. But the populists decided that we would do 8 hours for work. That's fine. That's not too bad either. And they get that one through. That is part of the Populist Party platform. All right, keep it on going. Direct election of senators. This is what we have today. And we could thank the populists for the direct election of senators or not, if you really even care. Again, this one may be more of one of those things that you see on an AP test question. Here's how it worked before. Each government or each state, we'll say Montana, has their own local government. So in Washington, D.C., we have the federal government, and it has a legislative branch. It has the executive with the president and a judicial branch. Inside the legislative branch, we have the House of Representatives, and we have the Senate, which is what we're really talking about here. So this is the federal government. And then in each state, we have our own individual legislative branch. So each state has a legislative branch and an executive branch for that matter. But we're really mainly just talking about the legislative branch. Each state has their own legislative branch, every single one of them. So how did this used to work? How did we used to pick senators? You would vote, and then you would vote for the representatives in the House, in the legislative branch. You would pick for representatives in your local state legislative branch. You would pick your local representative. So I live in North Carolina, in Greensboro, North Carolina, and in this area, I have a representative. And that guy represents me in the local state government. Now, what we used to do was I would pick a guy, he would serve in the local state government, and then that local state government would get together and they would vote for a senator. Sounds kind of convoluted. It sounds like a meaningless steps. I vote for these guys. I vote for them, and they vote to pick this guy. So I vote for them, they pick him. Step one, step two, to pick a senator. I pick them, and then they decide who will be the senator from the state of Montana. Or the local North Carolina government will decide who will be the senator from North Carolina. So you pick the government that picks the government. Okay, you pick the government that picks the government. Well, why don't we just pick the senator? Direct elections of senators. The populists say this is stupid. Why are we voting for guys to vote for guys? We pick our House of Representatives members already. And that was the case then, it's the case now. We directly elect our House of Representatives members. We directly, for the most part, elect our president. Why don't we directly elect our senator too? Doesn't that make sense? I think that makes sense. It's a pretty good idea, Populists, and that's what we have today. We vote directly for the senator. We get rid of this nonsense step. Directly for the senator. What is a referendum? All right. So the main way that we pass laws is we vote for a representative like our senator, which we directly elect. Now, I've got to stop saying directly elect, directly elect. Say that 5 times fast. We vote for a senator or representative, depends on which House of Congress we're talking about. And then that guy votes along with the other senators and the other representatives to whether they pass a law or not. Or not. That's how it works. Most of the time, 99.999% of the time, this is how it works. We vote for people, they're our representatives, and then they read all the issues and they make an educated decision and vote of whether we create laws or not. Referendums are different, obviously. If you read the part on the screen, the people vote, not the representative on an issue, not the representative. We don't use that. So basically, it's people, referendum. And like, for example, let's decide that we want to lower the voting age to 15, which that's a bad example because you can't do that because it's a constitutional amendment. You have to change the Constitution. Let me give you a better example. Let's say we want to ban sugar. The people could all come together in all the states. Typically, you see this on a more local scale. But anyway, the people all come together and they vote yes or nah on banning sugar. Or how about an 8-hour workday law? A recall, to pull back. People can vote to remove someone from office. So again, the people vote. Again, the power to the people. That's what the populists are all about. Returning government power to the people. Populists. The populists are the people. And the Populist Party was based on the idea of There's too much government power. There's too much power in the hands of the elites. And the rules, the regulations, the laws should be determined mainly by the people. And all of these platform ideas that we have gone over are generally aimed at the people. A referendum, let the people decide. Coin more money, put more money in the hands of the people. Government should regulate the prices of the railroad because the rich elite railroad owners are sticking it to the people. The farmers need to be helped out because the farmers still at this time, because it's between an agrarian or an agricultural based economy and a rapidly evolving manufacturing based economy. We're switching, but we still have a lot of farmers in this country. So the farmers make up a large portion of the populace, and the farmers are all mainly part of this populist party. So here's again another example of the people wanting to make the decisions. And then this way you can actually kick out your government officials. And this happened recently. It didn't end up happening. They had a recall vote, but ended up saying, nah. They had to vote to get rid of the governor of Wisconsin. The people voted, and he survived just barely. That's going to wrap up today. The next video is going to go crazy into gold versus silver, and we're going to talk about that issue with just printing money. Going back to the very beginning of the lesson, why don't we just print more money to make life better? I will explain to you why that's a bad idea. But today, you should have a good idea of the Populist Party, and it's very attractive. Probably to most of the people that are listening to this video, you are not wealthy, you are not elite, you're not a banker, you're probably a regular student that's part of the Populists, and a lot of these ideas sound really good. But one thing that you have to remember with these platforms or these beliefs is that all this stuff doesn't come for free. And a lot of times anything that the government does to help one side is going to hurt another side. It's very difficult to help everyone all at once. Nonetheless, the ideas sound like they have a lot of heart and they are for a good cause. But again, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Remember that. Be able to define an initiative. We didn't go over initiatives, so don't worry about that. We did go over referendum. That's where the people get to directly vote for a law. Well, it's kind of the same thing. These are basically the same thing. An initiative is where people come together. Might as well tell us. I don't know why I took this out of the lesson, but an initiative is where the people design a law. The people do, not the representatives. And a referendum is when we vote on said specific law. And a recall is where we decide to vote someone out and someone's saying, why don't we recall Donald Trump? Doesn't work like that on the national level, but from a state level, you can have recall votes to remove someone from office. For the president, there is a specific process in the Constitution that you have to follow. Thanks for joining me, folks. That's a long one, wasn't it? I think it was a long one.